pockets of your main character, and so on and so forth. And the specificity of these tiny details really, really help you, I think.
I think that's brilliant. I really love that. I'm going to use that.
Yeah, it's quite fun. It's really fun because, what's in your character's fridge is something that you probably don't think about very often, but sometimes it can tell you, if all they have in their fridge is like half-empty condiments, that tells you something about a character. If
Absolutely.
it's full, then it tells you something about the character. So Nima, sorry, I'm gonna butcher your name. Nima Tanarang, how many people do you share your drafts with, and which types of people? Do you share your drafts with anyone apart from your editor?
So I have like 3 people who I share my drafts with. So there's my editor, then there's someone who is like another poet, and then there's my partner who doesn't know anything about poetry, doesn't read, nothing to do with writing, but he loves watching TV. And for him, when I read out my work to him, he tends to visualize it like it's a movie or something in his head. And I think it's really important that I have the output of someone, or the feedback of someone who doesn't read, to see if I can keep him interested. And it really has helped my process a lot to have someone like that respond to the work as well. Because when you read as an editor, you read as an editor, you read as a poet, you read, or if you read as someone who loves books, those are 3 different things. But if you're reading as someone who doesn't like books or reading or that kind of thing, it's really interesting the kind of feedback you will get from that kind of person. I just think it's fascinating. So yeah.
No, that's really good. As my career has gone on, I've been less and less able to share early drafts with people, but I think I've gotten better at not second guessing myself as much.
Yeah.
We've got a question from Sana from the awesome 4 Brown Girls Who Write collective.
Yes, guys.
How important is community versus solitude? Tell me.
Oh, especially lately, given everything that is going on, I found a lot of peace in community. Even though it's all online and we're finding digital ways to get in touch with each other, there is a lot of hope and peace, which I'm finding in that. And I love my solitude. I'm quite introverted in the fact that I could spend days just by myself, and reading or writing for hours. But at least in moments like this, especially in moments like this, the community feels so important. And I think like both you and I, Nikesh, are the kind of people who just love bringing writers together. I think that's really wonderful.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. And, part of this came out of, we belong to a writing community where we see each other quite regularly. And this whole thing happened because last week I kind of thought, oh God, I haven't spoken to Nikita in a while. We both don't live in London. We're not around people from our community a lot. I'm just going to reach out. And actually, we had a lovely chat, and this is like what happened out of it. So the community is so important to me, because I think, especially a community where, for me, community means like surrounding yourself with writers who you can kind of treat as critical friends rather than competition. Like, I think it's so easy for writers, because what we do is solitary, is for us to forget that there is, like, writing a novel for me is actually a team sport, because there's the who I have conversations with, the writings of, there's also my editor, there's my agent, it's not as solitary a sport as one would think. And so just having that community around us, especially people who are cross art form as well, that's always really important for me. Shy Radicals asks, do you write at home or in a cafe or in a public space? Public place, sorry.
I think depends on how I'm feeling that day. Writing at home, like I write in my room, and sometimes I have to have that break of like the space where I sleep and the place where I write. Like because I live in a shared house, my room is the place where I do both those things. So, but there's a library quite close by to my place. I say close, it's about a mile's walk, and yeah, sometimes I just go sit there and write, because I think just being surrounded by those books and books I haven't read, and just sitting there and writing for the whole day. Yeah, I really enjoy that, and I enjoy like seeing other people there who are like, I've got to know the librarians, and it's just nice to stop and have a chat. It gets the break from the book, and they always want to know what I'm working on, which is really sweet.
Yeah, I have two places I write. I mean, I write here in this room. And also I work in a co-working space, just because I also struggle sometimes to concentrate at home, because I have two young children and they are not quiet. Do you think, Bewitched Seeker, do you think taking a literature course would assist the writing process in general? I'm in two minds about this. Like, I teach on a couple of things. Like, I teach on the Faber Academy course, and I teach on the Arbonne course. And the thing that I have learned is actually, I think a lot of writers who are still finding their voice, just they find comfort in being in the same room as someone who is where they want to be and still hasn't got their shit together. Sorry for swearing. And actually, your work best and work the best. So I think if you are the type of writer who isn't going to sit there and put in the hours by yourself, and you actually need someone there to kind of chill you along and put you in the right direction and kind of bounce things off, then I would, some people really thrive just doing it again and again, and some people really thrive doing a course.
Yeah.
How do you feel?
Yeah, I mean, I always say this to people. So I grew up loving writing, and like my parents just weren't. They were quite traditional in the sense of like, they were like, if you're going to do a creative job, you do something which will give you a stable 9-to-5 kind of career. And writing just, they didn't see that in writing, and fundamentally, the truth is, with writing, you're essentially a freelancer, you're self-employed. If you're writing novels, at least, and that's how you're supporting yourself, or maybe you teach or something. It's a combination of things that you do as a writer, but it's not like a 9-to-5 job. And yeah, I always wished I got to study it. I always wished I got to study it. And recently, so whenever I go to like one-day workshops or something like that, I feel like I learn so much, how I would feel about doing a course. Like you said, I'm in two minds about it. Like if it was something where I had to commit myself for 6 months, along with the cost of it, I think I would struggle a little bit along with all the work I do on the other hand. But then I think the kind of information I would get from that would be invaluable, So I think, like you said, it depends on how you feel, and whether you want to pursue. I don't think you have to do a course to be a good writer.
Mm.
I think you can read, like if you're a good reader, I think that's essential to being a good writer. But and just having the ideas and knowing how to execute them, and you can do that without doing a formal course. But yeah.
So Ramya J19, thanks for reminding me, because you did put this in the comments. Do you think writers of colour writing more diverse fiction have to pitch, query, approach agents differently? I don't think you have to approach agents differently per se. What I would say is you want the agent who works best for you. When you are talking with agents, with literary agents, you're interviewing them as much as they're interviewing you. And so it's really important that you find the best person for you. And if you find that you're having to kind of present yourself in a way that's not true to yourself for an agent, then they're the wrong agent for you. You want the agent that takes you for you and wants... the agent that I'm with at the moment, Julia Kingsford, one of the first questions she asked me was, what do you want to have achieved in 10 years' time? And I just thought, I really love that she wants me to think about my long-term goals rather than, can I sell this book that you've got right now? And 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 to just answer Sunitha's question, like I didn't have an agent when I signed my first book deal, and I signed a contract that wasn't like the most amazing contract. It would have been better if I'd had a literary agent, and that's the thing that literary agents are really good at, is just looking after your best interests, especially the best interests that are hidden in the fine print of 27-page contracts.
Yes.
Shall we take one more question? And then I feel like this went well. We'll probably do this again. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so. I think we should do this again.
We'll do it again. So do you have any tips or suggestions for becoming a better reader from Super Suraj? I would say, for me, it's really important that I read stuff that I think I'm not going to like, as well as stuff that I like. And also, I think sometimes the book industry kind of places a sort of tee-hee-hee importance on like guilty reads, and I don't think there is such a thing as guilty reads. I read comics, I read crime novels, I read poetic lyrical novels about existential crises. I read lots of different types of nonfiction. I try to read as widely as I can, and the way I found I can read more widely, read more diversely, is to stop reading white people. and actually, I found that just the scope of what I'm reading is just so much more interesting now that I would say I read like 90% writers of color. But it's because I don't stick to just reading the types of book I write, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think what I think was the difference between how I was reading before and how I read now is really simple. And it is, when I was reading before, I was reading like a reader, which was just, I like this story, and I like this, in the story, and I like the way the plot went, or something like that. When you're reading as a writer, you're literally looking at, elements in the story that you enjoyed, but also the craft which has been put in. And I think that's really interesting. Like, even in the story you don't like, you will be able to admire the craft another writer has put in. Without, like you said, like I read lots of work which isn't comfortable to what I usually read.
Yeah.
But I read it for the craft and the elements which I can kind of study and go, oh, that's really interesting. I really love how they did that.
So, before we go, someone asked for us to recommend some authors. Let's recommend 3 authors each, or 3 poets, or 3 writers we really love. Do you want to go first? Put you on the spot.
So yeah, absolutely. I have so many writers I absolutely love, so this is a hard one. But definitely right now, Dean Atter. He's written a book called The Black Flamingo, and it personally has affected me in a lot of ways, which is why I recommend this book to everyone. It's beautifully written. It's a book about it's a drag queen origin book. It's really beautifully written. It's written for children. It's illustrated by Anushka Kolar. I thoroughly recommend that book. And the second book, are we recommending authors or books? Sorry.
Whatever you want.
All right. The second book which I really recommend is The Poet X by Elizabeth Asueto.
So that's Flamingo by Dean Atter and The Life and Times of Poet X by Elizabeth Acevedo. Sorry.
Yes, that's right. Acevedo, sorry. And I think like her work is so beautiful because again it's a novel in verse, and it's really interesting to see the life of a young Dominican American girl growing up in Harlem, and the way that she kind of uses slam and poetry to kind of understand her very religious family and things like that. And finally, and I love recommending this book because I think it's such a beautiful book. It's Everyone Knows I Am a Haunting. It is a poetry book by Shivani Ramlochan. I recommend this book to everyone. It's so beautiful. And yeah, so those are the 3 books. And you know.
Okay, I'm going to recommend If They Come For Us by Fatima Asghar, which I love that book so much. I love Fati. I think I had the pleasure of working with her for a week on a TV project a couple of years ago, and I just fell in love with her energy and her vibe and everything she had to say. I love her. I love her poetry. On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous by Ocean Vuong is the most beautiful book that it's so quotable as well. It just blows my mind how quotable it is. And just because I chatted to her earlier, and her book is always deep in my heart. Good Talk by Mira Jacob, which is it's a graphic memoir about raising kids, and it's kind of like my new book Brown Baby, which comes out next year, is kind of in conversation with it. And so before we go, thank you so much to you guys. Sorry we can get, there were so many questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks so much. We'll do this again. We'll work out when we're both free to do it again. We'll do it again, definitely. This was fun. And
This was lots of fun. Yeah.
please support our work by buying our books. I've got a free creative writing newsletter called, if you go to nikesh.substack.com, you can find it there. And you'll find a link to buy me coffee if you like those newsletters. And what do you have to plug, Nikita?
I've got my books in the highlights, and I'm trying to encourage everyone to buy from independent bookstores. If you can do that, especially right now, it's really important. We need to support them. And I see a lot of people are asking for our recommendations to be written down. I'll share them in my stories, and I'll put them in the highlights so you guys can see. And yes, this will be recorded and saved for everyone who's been asking that. All right, so this has been amazing. Thank you, Nikesh.
Thanks, Nikita. Take care. Bye.
Take care.
Bye, everyone. Bye. Stay safe. Wash your hands.
Can you give me food? Quick, go your distance. You give me corona. That's not potato. That's hash brown.
The roast potatoes is 230.
2.5 hours.
Fish is 200. The hash browns, the roast potatoes are 230, half an hour, and the